See, I don't think you understand. See, they were supposed to have been in marital bliss by the time the book was supposed to have come out. But thanks to you, Miss I Want an Exclusive, I got my ass whooped. I almost got thrown from a fucking building because of your ass. So thank you. Thank you, Jordan. And what the fuck is that smell? Woo!
Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Taye here with another struggle review, here to discuss The Best Man. Now this movie is from 1999. It stars Morris Chestnut, Taye Diggs, Nia Long, Terrence Howard, Regina Hall, all-star black cast, you know what I'm saying? Now before I get into just why most of the people in this film wasn't shit, no good, I need you guys to drop down and subscribe to my channel and like this video. I'm going to give you guys a moment to do that, and then we're going to come back and discuss all things help me be the best man I can be. Oh, I can be. Hopefully subscribe to see more of me. Let's get into this movie. Now this movie is written and directed by Malcolm D. Lee. He did an amazing job here writing this film and directing, especially with writing. He did an incredible job. This was a really good story, especially to go back and revisit. It's never a dull moment. I always felt like this film was kind of like, you know, his magnum opus. He has directed and written, you know, many things since then, but I don't think anything reached the heights of The Best Man film. I also love that, you know, with the writing, we get to see all these beautiful black professional young people. You know, we have professors here, producers, writers, football players, chef, all these people, you know, from different walks of life. It's incredible to see. And I also love the direction, the music, the little scores that happens, you know, in between each scene to get you into it. And also the costuming and, you know, the tone of this film. You get to see everybody, you know, these dark, deep shades of earth tones. There's browns and deep greens and purple and grays, all this, you know, really distinct color palette that really pulls you into the characters. He did a really awesome job. Now, as soon as the movie starts, we immediately get into Harper Stewart, played by Taye Diggs, and all of his soon-to-be success. Now, he has just finished writing his first book, Unfinished Business, and there's talks of Oprah and book tours and all this soon-to-be. And then we're introduced to his supportive, loving girlfriend, Robin, aka Miss Sanaa Lathan, and you get into all this love, you know, all this support, roses, garden tubs, you know, all that good shit. But as soon as there is talks of, you know, I could be like this with you forever, Harper freezes up. We immediately see he is very unsure about spending forever with Robin, and he's afraid to commit. Then we get into red flag number 1. We get, you know, into the wedding and them, you know, preparing for that, and Robin feeling some type of way as to say, you know, maybe you don't want to marry me because, you know, I'm not your ideal mate. I'm not your soul mate like the character in your book, Kendall. Now, if she was able to connect the dots and, you know, try to place a face to a name to say, you know what, I don't think that this is, you know, a collection of women you've met over time. I think this is a real person. I think you're pining away for someone, and I think there's something you're not telling me. I feel like there's some truth to this book. If she was able to connect those dots, why didn't he think anybody else was? But where he fucked up was, he thought at that point that she was the only one who had read that book. No. Now, right after we leave them, I love, that scene where they're driving in the car and Harper's like, oh, here we go. Here's the drama. You immediately see he's, already prepared to step away. Like, he's expecting everything to be perfect. We can't even have our argument without you, So what, you're not going to come to the wedding now? Did you? You really didn't want her to come. But anyway, we get to, I'm going to give you some love. I wanna give you some good loving. Hey. And we get into this fabulous car ride that already sets the tone for the type of character that Harper is. It's so subtle here, and I love subtlety. But, Merch is saying, I, Merch none, keeping a secret head ass. It's saying, even though, my controlling ass girlfriend Shelby would love for me, move on and make all this money and go all corporate. I love working at this youth center with these kids. Harper responds, hey man, if you're gonna get paid for it. Like, Harper is about the money. He's about the profit and being a success and not caring what he had to do to get to that success. Like writing this goddamn book. Until, wait, you certainly didn't make her sound any kind of nice in your book. You read my book? Jordan has my book? Shut up, Merch. Now, right after that, we get into we get into that Stevie Wonder and Nia Long as Jordan with the cutest little haircut. I always loved her haircut in this movie. But we get into this unrequited love, all this leftover passion via a flashback of these two almost hooking up in undergrad. And you immediately see the type of character that Harper is. Harper was already a whole ass nigga. Not only did you leave your girlfriend, conveniently leave her at home, but right away you're kind of lusting and eyeballing after Jordan in a way that we kind of see him giving eye in a thoughtful kind of glare about Mia when, Nia Long gets that revelation later on in the movie. But, you get into them almost about to, engage in each other, have their moment. But the CD skips. Oh, how old are we? Y'all remember when CDs used to skip? But you get into that and Jordan trying to, keep it professional because it's not all on Harper's part. She feels something there for him too, and they just never got to explore that because they pursued their careers and trying to be successful. There's so much success here in this movie. All this blackness, I love it. But then we get into, Dr. Feelgood has your book. Quentin has my book. At that moment, when Harper realized that more than half of the friend clique has had your book and had a chance to read it, though everybody at that moment hadn't dove all the way in to, place names to faces and unscramble, the flip story to see who was really who and who was really doing what. Harper should have came clean. Harper really shouldn't have written this damn book in the first place. Giving bitches forehead kisses. All right. And this is when we get into Quinton, aka Terrence Howard. This was always like his first standout role to me, where you found out, his comedic timing, his acting chops was all, I love him here. More so, I have a whole new respect for Quentin in this movie that I never recognized before watching this years ago as a teen. Quentin was the realest one in the group. And I never noticed that. I was like, oh, look what happened when we grow up. Quentin was the realest one. Now, we have Quentin here who is, even though he's a womanizer, he is very honest and forthright about everything. Now, there's this immediate tension between him and Harper due to, Quentin kind of going wherever the breeze takes him, and him, going from job to job, passion to passion. It's just, I do whatever I want to do. It's very carefree, to Harper's dismay, because it's all about concentration, success, climbing up that ladder, tunnel vision with him. And he just doesn't understand the way that Quentin lives his life. And just from that conversation that they have in the restaurant, you can already see that this has been, you know, Harper's exterior, you know, towards him, to just be like, oh my God, like, get it together. Look how you're moving, like, kind of like grow up. And you really see him kind of shooting all these kind of low-key slugs at Quentin. But you also see, you know, there's an undertone that Quentin already knew what was going on in that book way before everybody else did. He knew what happened between, you know, Lance and Mia and him and that whole situation. It's just like, you have the nerve to come at me about the way I'm deciding to move and live my life when you're a dirty motherfucker. Shut up, nigga. And this is when we get into giving props to the chocolate brother. And Morris Chestnut just walking in looking like a fucking dream. Now, I don't know what it is about this particular slow motion scene here, but I don't care if I watched this, you know, way before I was supposed to be watching it, watching this as a teen, watching this as of yesterday. That slow motion shot of Morris Chestnut walking in, signing autographs, showing all his 20,000 teeth. Let's just take a moment for Morris walking in, fucking shit up. Oh my goodness, looked good. But we use that moment to, you know, really establish Morris Chestnut, Lance Sullivan, is everything. He is, you know, the Mr. Football, that epic champion, that man who can do it all, successful, has, you know, this up and coming marriage, and loves his friends at the end of the day, especially his best man, Harper. Cocky ass Harper. When you go back, it's like really subtle how cocky Harper is throughout this film. Not only to be able to write that book, but just really not give a damn about it until it really blows up in his face, what he's actually put to paper, what he did to his friend. Now, don't forget, this is a comedy, so we do get a lot of comedy in this one particular scene for me. Not only do we have Terrence Howard saying, you know, I see you still got your mama's jacket on. That shit always takes me out. Then you have, well, the gang's all here, back in effect. Break out the 40s. Hey Shelby, like that dry ass hey Shelby takes me the fuck out. Langston snooze. You know what, Harper? The next time you try to categorize me in one of your little projects, do me a favor. Don't. Like, Shelby was everything. Little Miss Melissa, beautiful and all too controlling and manipulative towards Julian. Am I being that unreasonable? Like, her character was, no, Shelby. Like, in the back, like, oh, she must have a low jack on his ass. Harper, I'm watching you. Like, she was everything. I love Melissa's character here. So after we get our revelation that, you know what, Harper probably shouldn't have been anybody's best man. Not only does he have past indiscretions, but his whole best man role takes a back seat the entire movie to him needing and wanting to find this book. I need the book, like, and I never even really got that. Did you think, you know, you really thought that once they were married, anything that, you know, came up or that was, you know, inquired in this book, or it just wouldn't matter? Everything was gonna just be squashed? No, stupid. But everything takes a backseat to him finding that book because Quentin said, I don't know. But we get into Monica Calhoun's character, aka I just came to dance for y'all. That's all. Abity from the Players Club with the whole 180 here as Mia, really, you know, enchanted and soft-spoken and dainty Susie Homemaker. Practically has a halo around her goddamn head, floating down those stamps to Lance, who is, you know, just smitten with her. He puts her up on a pedestal. And everything ain't clean with her ass neither, because she wasn't shit either. Not only, you know, was she there for this indiscretion, but you have her, you know, really strongly embracing Harp and saying little sly shit like, oh, you know, where's that girlfriend of yours? Harp, you know, you were always so good at keeping everything a secret. Like, girl, 1990, Chuck Rock hops up on the scene with a team in a pocket full of green. We get into a flashback and get into Chuck Rock's Treat 'em Right. And I love the little flashbacks that we do get here. We don't get many, but the ones we do get establish so much. We are introduced to, Mia and Lance, firsthand, and Harper, and, them being in college, and Harper being the editor of the newspaper, and Mia being this virginal beauty that Lance has to have and conquer. And it's just almost like it's a prize just because, I just slept with, 4 strippers and twins and all this other stuff, basking in all this fuckery, but she's a virgin. Oh, I need that. I need to claim that. Don't get it twisted. Lance wasn't really shit either. This was a circle of ancient friends. The way that Lance put her on this virginal pedestal and had her, as his little keepsake, his little perfection in his pocket, almost like claiming and owning her. And it was like a brute, like back up. It was just so tasteless. It was just like, like, you can go off and sleep with all these women and be, a certain way, and this star athlete all the way back to college, which brings me back around to Mia, because girl, you knew what you were getting into. Though Harper and Mia were friends first, and he linked the two up, you made the decision to be with Lance on your own. Lance was the talk of the campus, the football star, the man, the ladies' man, that whole thing that athletes always pretty much are. You knew what it was, girl. You knew what it was. And when it became what it was, you made a real stank decision. So now after we leave, Lance godly ass, there is a lot of talk of, God and faith and religion surrounding Lance's character. You even see him walk in all sexual chocolate with that nice cross. All of his faith is very present and forthright in his belief, and Harper don't want nothing to do with none of that. Like, no, it's about me. Harper was a choice. We also have, moments and flirtatiousness between Jordan and Harper. It was like nobody was shit here but Quinton, I swear, and Merch. Because not only do you have, this unrequited whatever between them, but everybody in this circle very much knows about Harper's girlfriend and her coming, and it was like nobody gave a damn, and it's just all this flirting and all this anticipation for what could have been, and we see what they try to pursue later. But besides that, we get into that epic card game scene. I love it. I love this scene. We really get into the man's personality, though we, see what they are. At that moment, we really get a nice glimpse into the 4 of them being, completely different characters. Not only is Julian a bit submissive, but, he's, forward thinking. A woman can do whatever she wants to do, make whatever she wants to make. And then you have Quentin, the womanizer. These women wouldn't outnumber us like they do. God wouldn't have given us all this sperm. I said women, but Quentin said these bitches, these hoes, ain't nothing like pussy, better pussy, fucking. Like, Quentin is that hot mess. And then you have caveman Lance, who is, very traditional, which is why he was just so enamored of Mia being a virgin, and they having that, that bond there, and him being her first. And then you have Harper, who is, oh, this is my queen and shit. And the first time she steps out of your little box, she's dismissed with the quickness. Like, Harper, who is, really scared of commitment and, doesn't really think in long terms of forever, though he loves Robin. But I love the exchanges that, those subtle exchanges we get between, Quinton and Harper, because you still have cocky ass Harper throwing slugs at Quinton about, him being a womanizer, him not being focused, him being a bullshit artist, like he's squeaky clean. Like, did you not? And I know he recognized it. That scene when they first meet after Quentin's done playing that guitar, he really makes it clear, you know, when he's like, you know, the frontal lobe shorty, like, yeah, whatever you're thinking, Quentin, just stop right there. It's not even that. It's nothing going on with that. You know, you have a good inkling that Quentin knows out of everybody else exactly what happened within that relationship and what your book is really talking about. Yet you're still cocky enough to say the sly shit you say, which causes Quentin to egg on goddamn Lance, even though he was not wrong. Because we have Lance, who's all, you know, caveman. I've soiled my royal oaks. I'm ready to settle down. This is the cure to promiscuity. I'm just going to be faithful now. The double standard of it all. For years, Lance has been able to come and go as he pleases, screw who he wants to Mia's dismay. But at the first thought of her sleeping with someone once, it just shatters his whole world. But, you know, you have Quentin, you know, wouldn't she be well within her rights? You know, what if she did go out and get a little swerve, you know? Not all women play, not all of them. Well, how do you know that? Because, no, how do you know that? Because her pussy curves to my dick, nigga. That's how I know. Like, say less. It's just earth-shadowing to him. And we get that first glimpse of how upset he can get just at the thought of her possibly sleeping with something else. And you have everybody just at the table like, oh, Lord, look at this big-ass nigga. Like, oh. They had Morris Chestnut looking like an Amazon in this film. I love the way it was shot. Does anybody come clean? No. So after we leave practically everyone disrespecting Harper's relationship, she's a caterer, god damn it. Nobody cares. It's just all about this unrequited love and all this passion and lust that he has between himself and Jordan, and everybody's just, you know, saying nobody's gonna equate to her. She's your soulmate. She's the best thing you never had, blah, blah, blah. You even have Lance flat out saying, just go and be a dog, you know, just get with her, just sleep with her, like his girlfriend is not set to come the very next day. Hot ass mess. But then you have hoe ass Harper, who continues to put his relationship in jeopardy by being in close quarters with Jordan, friendship or not. He is, you know, caught in a compromising position in his boxers. Can't even say I love, ain't it some, you know, it's some shit that, I love you, Harper. What'd you say? I said I love you. Boo, 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 boo. Like, no, nigga, I said I love you. And then you have Jordan standing in the door, like leaning in, like, oh, just, you know, just slap it on my face already. Like, why would you put yourself in those kind of 2 years? You're in a whole fulfilling relationship, so you say. But you didn't give a damn enough. You're walking through the park with her, talking about, you know, sex and commitment and life and what things could have been. You know, all work and no play makes, you know, Jordan a horny nut basket. Like, what is up? Now, boom, this is when the film takes a turn. And not only do we have Quentin, who knows what happened via the book, we have Jordan, because he has that moment, that gleam in his eye when he goes, you know, oh yeah, you know, that girl's got talent. Mia's got talent. You know, oh, my little Mia, like, has a whole moment. And it's just like, oh my God. You scandalous dog. We have that whole revelation that, you know, you switched us in the book and what actually happened between these characters. We're over here, you know, sleeping in the same bed, but no, you actually had sex with this character, but we never even had sex. If Lance finds out what went down, you better use your feet and run. Like, there's so much character coming into question about, you know, Harper and the things that happened in the past and him being a scandalous dog, but this doesn't, you know, deter her from wanting to fuck him. Nice. But I love, you know, still at that moment, Harper super duper duper cocky. You know, it's your imagination and it's not that and it's not this. Like, stop reading into stuff. It's just a book. Lying. You even have him go as far as to say, you know, Lance is so wrapped up in a million things, he won't have time to read it. Shit. Not only does Lance have time to read it, but he is really engrossed in enjoying the book. And also, like everybody else, seeing himself as the Brian basketball star in the book. Everybody saw themselves in it. And he thought that one embellishment of switching behaviors and traits and fucks between one character was going to just make everything else in the book just flow. Stupid. Like, I mean, how great of a writer were you, Harper? Huh? Were you really that good? Were you? After we leave, you know, Quentin just basking in the fact that Harper will be found out eventually. You know, he loves to see him sweat throughout this whole movie. You have Lance also have that revelation of, you know, knowing what the forehead kiss was in the book and, you know, him using that as advice to get the girls wet and all this other stuff. We get into the tuxedo fitting, which I love. I love all the scenes that we get, you know, with Harper. Harper was the worst kind of best man to have. I don't give a damn. Like, not only are you, like, he was so cocky. He still takes those moments to shoot all of these slugs at Quinton about, you know, his upbringing. You could be working for your father. You're not pursuing anything. You're not focused. And Quentin is like, bitch, who are you to call me out on anything? Not only do you have this secret that you're keeping from your best friend and you've slept with his soon-to-be wife, but you in a relationship as of right now today. You're waiting and wanting and going to sleep with Jordan. So who are you to fucking tell me about my life when you doing much more dirt? Nigga, shut up. Now, right after that, we have Quentin in some comedic moments of him digging into Julian about letting Shelby control every aspect of his. Well, why didn't you call me after the tuxedo fitting? Where is this European? You know, American cut does nothing for your frame. Like, Shelby was doing the goddamn most. Like, lay off, stick up, get your balls, dog. We get into Jordan, you know, trying to inquire about having a camera at the wedding. We get more of the sexist shit from Lance and, you know, this is, you know, about a commitment between a man and a woman, but you wouldn't know nothing about that. Like, what nobody shit? Like, what? Why y'all was friends? But we also take a small snippet of Jordan. Like, there was no accountability amongst anyone here. Not only does Jordan just, you know, not really care about the girlfriend at home, about Robin, she's just like, okay, you know, girl, so you slept with him, right? So how was it? Because I'm trying to get me some. You know, it was what I needed. It was, you know, sweet, soft, and endearing, like a forehead kiss. And I'll always love him for that. You don't get your soft-spoken whole ass on up out of here, Mia. Like, girl, everybody's just so okay with everything. Even leading up to that later scene that we get in a church of, you know, yeah, I want to make love to you tonight. Well, you know, yeah, Robin, yeah, I know what I want and what I need. Our opportunity has presented itself again. Let's get her done. Nobody within this film really gave two fucks about anybody's relationship or commitments or nothing. Like, not my friend. So after we have, you know, this whole dinner and you have Mia stand up and dedicate their whole union and all this positivity and soft-spoken love to Harper. Like, she was putting a lot on it to be skankish. But more importantly, we have a bathroom moment with Lance and Harper and him confiding in him and thanking him and saying, you know, I'm going to take care of her. You know, I'm going to be there. I know how you are about your little sister. I'm going to be different now. Like, oh, it's always the, oh, that's my sister. We like sisters. We like brothers. We like, you always got to worry about them. Oh, him? That's like my cousin. It ain't even like that. Yes, it is. But you also have Jordan make plans, you know, to link up with Harper later. And you have merch, you know. Fine, Shelby. See you in the morning. merch. You have him, get some balls and stand up to Shelby for the first time in all the years of their relationship. And then we get into the motherfucking bachelor party. Oh, this is when stuff starts to hit the fan. Not only do we have, all the men there having a good time at the you make me want to throw my pager out the window. All the strippers coming in, the luscious chocolate strippers coming in. And then, just basking in the bachelor party as they should. You have Lance, has all the ass in his face that he could, dream of and all that good stuff. And you have Harper, so content at that moment. I'm going to be able to Jordan later. Lance is okay. They're scheduled to be married tomorrow. And not only that, I have my unfinished business book right about here. What could possibly go wrong? So cocky, so content, drinking, having a good time, up until the strippers come his way and take off his jacket, throwing it, showing Lance like, oh, okay, like this is the umpteenth time that you've tried to keep this book from me. What exactly do you not want me to read? Like, he really, gets to side-eyeing him. I'm gonna put this back here. Read this when I get a chance. And then we get into Regina Hall in like one of her first TV movie appearances. And just like candy, hey, I can feel it when you walk out. Even when you talk, it takes over me. Just like candy. We get to that cameo. And Merch living his best life. Come on, hug Candy Daddy. Candy loves you, Daddy. Do you love me? Like, that shit is hilarious. You have him all down in the dumps, pining away after Shelly blowing up that little phone. You have Terrence Howard being the devil on his shoulder, like, no, have a drink, grab a lady, touch some ass, throw some ones, let's live a little. But you have, all these vibes going on. The men have wound down, had a good time. You have Merch, finding this, little thing going with him and Regina Hall. And, hey, maybe she's a little bit more than a stripper. You see her kind of hesitant to come into the party that, maybe she's one of those strippers, I'm trying to pay for school, you know what I'm saying? She was one of those. So it wasn't about stripping for her. She had a bigger picture for her life. And they have, a mutual thing and these quotes and all this good stuff. Then we go back up. Shit. Hey, damn. Ow, motherfucker. Like, we get into the D'Angelo and you have Lance literally seeing red, reading the rest of this book and getting into it. Now, at this point, we had only, verbal reflections and people having their revelations of what's really happening in this book and you actually sleeping with Mia. But when it comes to Lance, we visually get to see it and we get to see Miss Mia be real predatory towards getting to Jackson. Harper, like, sis. Now, we are made to believe, especially when we do have a flashback prior of Lance, repenting and praying for cheating on Mia yet again. And I love that scene. It coincides with the later one when we get Lance, needing to pray and Harper really not having any faith. But, child, we get into her, kissing necks and licking earlobes and really trying her best to entice him. Like, this one would be a personal one of her own. She was tired of, being cheated on, paternity suits, Lance's endless line of ladies. But girl, she could have had anybody. I'm not going to go easy on Mia. I don't hold her to some angelic standard. Harper was definitely wrong because at that moment, of course, he had the willpower to, turn away. You cute or whatever, but you are with my best friend and he is madly in love with you, though he's sleeping with everybody and their mama. This man loves you, so it's my duty to walk away, even though she is strongly pursuing him. But they both go for it and engage. He doesn't turn away and she doesn't try to seek her revenge. And girl, you could have slept with anybody. If anybody had, been Lance would have felt some type of way either way, but you made it your whole ass business, cousin Ebony, to sleep with his best friend. And I don't, you know, when we get into that, boom, dum, 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 and we get into all of this, we get into all them strokes and all of this, and Mia grabbing sheets and sucking lips and biting sheets and stroking in the back, and oh, Harper, like, it was real sensual. But we have all of that, and we have Lynch just like, oh, he's just there. But who do we have, you know, on the outside? Cocky ass Harper making plans. You know, you better not go to sleep, girl. I'm finna be there and blow your back out. That's all we worried about. Up until we have, hey, smile, daddy, it's your bachelor party. You fucked me, like, and the ass whooping commenced. Like, such an epic grand ass whooping, even with the ass whooping taking place. Calm down, man. It's just a book. We're still lying. Harper was a fucked up kind of dude. You kissed her on the frontal lobe, nigga. I know what that shit means. Like, oh my God. Like, I love Morris. His acting was so on point here of him being that mad ass, buff ass football player, you know, and you have fucking Quentin on the side, like, enjoying it. Like, yeah, nigga, I knew this shit was coming. Your ass should have told the truth. The only person here who was honest about everything was pretty much Quentin. But you have him hanging his ass over the ledge. Oh God. Oh, you want God now? You don't want to do this, Al. You don't want to do this, Al. I know Harper ain't shit. He ain't shit. But this your man. 50 grand. You gonna marry you a beautiful woman. Yeah, listen to him. L wouldn't lie. Even about you being a bitch ass nigga. Especially about me being a bitch ass nigga. Pull him up, L. God don't want this, L. God don't want this. But Lance is just too far gone, and he cancels the wedding, and everything is just done. And then we get into and we get into Miss Nia Long Jordan coming all ready with that damn air freshener, ready to, you know, invite Harper into all this sexual activity. No. Not only are you beat the fuck up, but you come in here and being the asshole that you are, you still, even at that moment, don't take responsibility for what you did and what you wrote and blame her. Thank you, Jordan. And what the fuck is that slap? The slap heard around the world. How dare you blame me for your skeletons? No matter how hard you tried to disguise that shit, wasn't too well because everybody figured that shit out. It was you. You aired your dirty laundry. Come on now. I am horny. I've been drinking tequila shots, and I don't want to hear about no goddamn peace. Fuck you, good night. Like, Harper was a hoe ass dude, and you can't tell me otherwise. Up until, you know, that following day of everything not panning out. Like, what if everything panned out to where he wanted it to? You wouldn't have taken any accountability for anything that you've done in the present and in the past, and you would have cheated on your current girlfriend. Ain't shit. Jordan wasn't either, because she was eager, willing, and ready, wasn't she? But we get into him clinging to the only person that he really has left. Oh, Robin, the girlfriend that you were about to cheat on a couple of hours before you put this raggedy ass tuxedo on. Get off me. I need you. No, you need me. You need me now. Since when? You couldn't even fathom forever with me 3 days ago. Now you need me. All right. You compromised our relationship and Lance and Mia. Not only were you a hoe ass nigga this whole weekend towards our relationship, but you've been a hoe ass too. How long you been working on this book? Lying about it. Lying to me about who this Kendall character was to you and to your life, enough for you to cheat on me in the span of two raggedy ass days. 2 days. But then no, you have a nice ass Robin. Well, I think I owe it to myself to see what's been holding you back from me for this long. Girl, no you don't. Get your ass on the flight. he ain't the one. And then we get into some more comedy. Julian, who was that? Pop-Tart. Who the fuck calls somebody a Pop-Tart? Look, Shelby, clearly you are not the woman for me and I am not the man for you. I hope you find someone. Goodbye. Like, Merch was with the shit. You think you ought to pick that up? What? Your bottom jaw. Oh, shut up. She's so proper. Oh, yeah, you seen Lance? No. Lance arrives like a raging fucking bull, still dressed in the same thing from last night. Clearly, at this very moment, still not willing to marry her. My question to you guys out there, do you feel like Lance made the right decision in marrying her and not... Okay. Personally though, I feel like they should have hatched that shit out at least prior to him marrying her. Now, I'm not saying her one indiscretion made her, you know, any less of a woman in what she had represented to him and that angel she had been in his life prior to, you know, that one moment and who she was, you know, through all those years they were together before they got married. But like, some of that shit should have been talked about, you know what I'm saying? But you have him coming in. I love them kind of trying to drag and hold him like he's so fucking strong. Pray with me. Pray. We want to use the prayer now. And, you know, he have him, you know, go in and Lance solely take out all his frustration, his aggression, as he did the night before when he whooped his ass just on Harper, which I always hated, which is why I'm glad we did get that part too, that I haven't really seen in a long time. But at that moment, everything is only geared towards him, as if Mia played no role in anything. You only have her behind the scenes of the wedding. If this day doesn't go right, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I just need everything to be perfect. All mousy, like you ain't shit. But you have him, you know, really close Lance in and be there for him and, you know, divine intervention and really have him have that revelation of, you know, even though Mia did make that mistake of, you know, sleeping with me in the past, that doesn't change who she's been to you. She's still your angel. She's still your woman. She's still your ideal mate. Go and marry her. Don't let this derail that. Don't make that mistake. And they have that whole prayer and all of that thing and all of this stuff happen. And we even have, you know, Jordan and Robin meet for a minute. So much tension and awkwardness amongst this wedding. And to here I get into that Beyonce. After all, we get into Lance. Like, all the more reason to have hashed this shit out prior before y'all walk down anybody's aisle. Because not only do you have him standing there committing his life to this woman and her being, you know, this whole angelic that, you know, she feels like she's always been, but you have him there breaking the fuck down. Watching this now and seeing just how disturbed and broken he was, you know, to even have flashbacks of them fucking amongst their vows, it was just like, my love, my angel, my sweetheart. It didn't need to be all of that. Things needed to be discussed, not only on their part and all that cheating and all that scandalous shit they had going on, but just to say, you know, hey, even with that, you know, you weren't always faithful to me back then. You still haven't been faithful to me now up until this moment of us about to get married. So yes, I did do this and this is why I did that. Forgiveness here, forgiveness there. Now let's walk. But we didn't. So we had a puddle full of tears. My love. Like, it was all, Morris had chocolate tears coming down his face. But we get into the complete ending of this film and, you know, there's all this forgiveness in the air. Forgiveness all around for, like, I guess the wedding just, you know, fixed everything. Not only is Harper, you know, ending off with giving this epic toast, but you have Mia and Lance in marital bliss, throwing the bouquet and the garter. And I love that little scene of him, you know, say you like it. Like, oh, he was trash. Everybody's trying to get with everybody here. Complete trash. And, you know, you have that little chemistry moment with them there. But everything is just always, you know, just forgiving for the most part. And you even have Jordan and Harper share this slow dance of her kind of giving him her blessing as, you know, yeah, you know, you go and you be with her, and she's the one, Harp. Like, she's the one now. She wasn't the one, you know, less than 8 hours ago, but she's the one now. She's Neo. She's the one. And then we get into this sorry ass proposal courtesy of Harp. Now, up until that moment of the proposal, we have a lot of moments, especially when he's trying to convince Lance to marry Mia, of saying, you know, she's your soulmate, she's your ideal, you guys fit together, which we had, you know, Robin tell Harper in the beginning, and him have this whole revelation of what she is to him and what she's represented in his life this entire time, to the point that he wants to propose to her right at that moment where she gives, you know, oh, whatever, man. Like, yeah, say whatever, man, because y'all shouldn't even be doing that shit. Like, y'all doing too much. Y'all doing too much. And not only do we end off on this really happy note, but we end off with just like candy once again, but ain't no stripper shaking ass this time. We doing the electric slide, and all is forgiven. Yeah. Well, you guys, that was my review for The Best Man. As you can say, I had some thoughts about this movie and these characters. And I'm just not all hunky-dory for Lance or Mia or Jordan's ass or Harper. Like, we have, you know, Robin doing what she needs to do. She has some sense, you know. She didn't have too much because she should have walked out after she said, get off me. And you have Quinton, who was all, you know, honest. And, you know, Julian, who was Julian. But, you know, everybody had, you know, their mountains to move and their tasteless traits and things that they had done in the past and indiscretions and all that other good stuff. But, you know, this is a classic. This is a great film. It is a good film. The little morals and stuff, you know, we ain't worried about that, you know. We just here for the black people. But, you guys, that was my review. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please drop down and tell me what you thought about my review, what you think about these characters, when's the last time you watched this film, and get those comments rolling. I see you guys next time. Bye.